Hey guys, the attendance was 19,800. It was sold out. Game was 11.3 million. Fight of the night, Roy Ball versus Van. Performance of the night went to Rodriguez and Topuria. Who's got the first question?
To your left.
I thought you retired.
I am now. In about an hour.
Well, congrats and thanks for everything, Kevin.
Thank you, brother. What was your take on Ilya's performance? And do you think that he gives Islam a run for the money as pound for pound right now?
Yeah, it's interesting because, he did exactly what he said he's going to do. He is an absolute complete fighter. Stand up is beautiful, ground, grappling, everything. This kid's a star.
From a punching power standpoint, he knocks out Volkanovski, Holloway, and Oliveira, three amazing fighters in a row. Is he the hardest hitter pound for pound that the UFC has ever had?
He's on a great 3-fight win streak for sure. All legends that he knocked out. I don't know. I don't know where he sits pound for pound punching power, but moving up a weight class like that and doing what you say you're going to do in the first round and the way he did it is very impressive.
From a standpoint, Ed said the other day if he won this fight that he might turn into a star the caliber of a Ronda or George St. Pierre or Conor or somebody like that with the look he has, the way he talks, and then, of course, the way he fights. Given the way this ended tonight against a fighter like Oliveira, do you think that he has the ability to take it to that kind of level?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You obviously felt the energy in the building tonight. It was a big fight. And, again, to go in and say exactly what you're going to do and then do it the way that he did it is impressive.
A couple other questions for me. Pantoja just seems like, he's, 35 years old, and he's getting better at this stage, and you rarely see fighters do that. What does that say to you when you see a guy that is 35 and this late into his career, and he still comes out fight after fight and is better?
Yeah, impressive. And again, he's another guy ended up getting the finish. I think you just said it all yourself. Yeah, I agree with you.
And then just wanted to ask you about the fight between Joshua Van and Roy Ball. That might have been in the top 10 fights in UFC history. I mean, that certainly was an amazing brawl. What was your take?
Yeah, I agree. And literally there were texts flying around from the truck and me and the matchmakers. And basically going in the beginning of the third round, they had already, broke into the top 10 all time for significant strikes. And I think they ended up at 3 all time and, crushed the record in their weight division. And they broke another record too. So the other thing, I'm gonna pay Roy Ball his win money. He took that fight with the number 12 ranked guy on short notice and put on an absolute war. So those two are both going to do well tonight, and it's absolutely positively deserved.
And I know it's early, but how do you see a matchup between Pantoja and Van? I mean, you have Pantoja, the smart, wily veteran against this kid that's, also growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I don't know. That it's a good question. Obviously, it's the fight to make right now. It's the reaction that it got from the fans tonight, and we'll just have to see how that plays out. I don't know.
I was going to ask you some other,
for a kid who's ranked number 12 to come in on short notice to take on the number 1 guy in the world who was highly motivated to win that fight after the press conference the other day, where he said, "I feel like I'm the most disrespected fighter in the sport," and he knows he's going to get the title shot. He came to win tonight.
I was going to ask you another question, but since I'm retired, fuck it.
Yeah.
Then Ilya, after the fight, he called in Patty Pimblett, brought him into the cage, and they had a face-off. Obviously, they've got a long history together. I know there's a lot of options on the table for Ilya, but when he shows that type of interest in a fight, does that make you want to make it?
Well, I don't know who the hell got him in there. That should have never happened. Let's start there. I was already back in my room where that would have never happened. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think about that stuff tonight, other than, obviously the Van fight. But, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out.
He's mentioned that he would obviously love to fight Spain, but he doesn't want to do it in the middle of the night that you have to do with European pay-per-views. But given what a star he is and the following that he has, do you start trying to move things around? I know you said we want to go to Spain. Do you start thinking, how can we get him, in prime time in Spain over there?
I don't know. Spain isn't even an option right now anyway, so
Joshua Van, obviously a star-making performance. We're all talking about him. Can you just talk about his rise? I mean, 2 years ago, he's debuting in the UFC. He's 8-1 now. He takes out the number one contender. I mean, what have you thought of his rise?
Well, tonight we had some people here who were first time ever to UFC events, and you know, one of the things that was said to me a lot tonight is how educated the fan base is. You know, as far as the fights go and everything else, and if you saw the pop that those two got tonight, you would have thought that they were both huge superstars. So, yeah, the kid's done all the right things, and tonight he was given an opportunity on short notice, and he went and absolutely delivered. I mean, that's what I love about this sport, and that's what I love about giving guys opportunities.
Can you give us the story on why you were willing to allow him in the cage? We know match fake on Saturday night, right? It's clear that's the fight. Why did you say, hey, yeah, let's go ahead and do a face-off?
Well, he's the number one contender, and I just said that, you know, the winner of that fight would get a title shot. So, and obviously, the fans, you know, wanted to. My thing with Ilya, with Topuria is his wife and kid are in the octagon. You know, that's not the fight that really. It's just
it was fun.
It shouldn't happen.
It's fun to watch.
That's not really what we do. It was fun to watch him. That shouldn't happen. Plus, he wins a second title in a higher division, which there was a bad call by whoever the hell let him in there.
Last thing I wanted to ask about International Fight Week, obviously super busy. BJJ, power slap, a little touch of boxing as well, and of course even tonight. Is that kind of the blueprint for like every UFC pay-per-view week to have all the brands kind of on display at the same time, or is this just a special week with it being International Fight Week?
Well, it's obviously International Fight Week, and it's this whole week is everything fighting. But yeah, we did a takeover in a couple of cities. You know, we have enough sports properties now where we can make a whole week out of it. So we'll see.
And just one for me. What happened to the PI in Mexico?
They think it was the sauna. So we don't know yet. We still don't know exactly, but all signs point to the sauna. Some wiring, something went wrong and it caught on fire and did some real damage. We're just trying to figure out how bad the damage is, and more than anything, how long is it going to take to fix?
Could it be a total rebuild, or is it still?
I don't think it's total rebuild. I mean, there'd have to be some serious structural damage to, like, the metal beams or the concrete or something. I don't know anything about this shit, but it caught on fire, and we'll see how long it takes us to fix it.
Dana, we can piggyback on your previous answer about this week, beyond Fight Week, International Fight Week. But this week in Las Vegas was a decade ago. June was a little bit of a slower month, but it started last Sunday. We've had nothing but eyes on Las Vegas, whether it's WNBA with Caitlin Clark here, the groundbreaking for the A Stadium, then International Fight Week, Canelo Crawford. Las Vegas is easily taking over a sports capital. Can you just comment on the entire week of the eyes on this town?
Yeah, I think it's always made sense that if sports organizations could get past all the gambling stuff, which they have, this is a serious sports town. And I would say this, if there's an away game, everybody's going to go to Vegas for an away game. It's just you come in on depending on what it is, you come in 2-3 days early and make a whole trip out of it. So, in every sport, I mean, there's going to be fucking ping pong here pretty soon. Everything's coming to Vegas. Done with me?
Jose Delgado and Terrence McKinney, they won fights within a minute. They finished their opponents. Not to take more money out of your pockets, but are they going to get taken care of?
Yeah, I mean, we always, I tell you who won the bonuses, but everybody that does well.
Awesome. And one more from me. John Silva, he's got a crazy life story. He's been finishing everybody. At the UFC fan experience, he was jumping into the crowd. Do you think he's one of the UFC's next biggest stars?
We'll see. Obviously, next fight's big, and it's on Noche, and people are excited for it. I'm excited for it. So we'll see how it plays out.
Thank you.
Dana,
yeah.
You're right. To your right.
Yeah.
Is there a medical update on Jack Hermanson? Because that was a pretty...
Yeah, that was a nasty one. Yeah. I think he's good. Yeah.
Dana over here in the middle. Is there any headway on Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena if that title fight's going to get booked soon?
I'll let you know when we get it done.
And it's just kind of piggybacking off that. Obviously, with Ilya's win, everyone's really excited to potentially see a future fight with him and Islam. I know that's the fight that people wanted. Ilya said earlier this week that if Islam loses that fight, he wouldn't give the opportunity for Islam to fight for his belt again. Is that something you'd bypass? Because that seems like such a big fight to me.
I mean, it's all talk.
Speculative.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that's a fight you guys would want to make at some point. I mean, just the matter.
Sure. I'd make that fight tomorrow. Yeah. Or Tuesday, I guess we could say. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask you just about International Fight Week specifically. Obviously, it's the Super Bowl for the UFC. Can you just talk about, everything from the convention, Power Slap, how you felt like, I guess, did it live up to your vision of it in terms of all of the new things that the UFC has been doing for the fans and everything else all week?
What is your question?
Like, did your vision for International Fight Week as UFC X has grown, Power Slap has grown, how is the execution of everything from your point of view for the fans?
Yeah, no, it's been a hell of a week. I mean, it was our first ever BJJ event. It killed it. Slap was ridiculous last night. And tonight's fight was great. It was a hell of a weekend. And UFC X was a huge success. So it was all good.
Obviously, the UFC keeps growing. Are there any big things that you could tease that we might see at next International Fight Week, whether it be at the convention or anything else?
What's the question?
Are there any new things that you have in the works for UFC X or anything else during the week?
Yeah, I mean, every year that we do it, we try to evolve and get better every year. So, not right here at this second. It's not even over yet. We're just wrapping up. But yes, we will definitely do some different. Who the hell knows what I'll be into by next year?
Hello, Dana. Iratica from Marca in Spain. Can I ask in Spanish for quería preguntarte por la figura de Ilia Topuria. Tengo los números de cómo de seguida ha sido la pelea ha sido a las 6 de la mañana en España y los números son equiparables a un partido del Real Madrid, el mejor club del mundo, un partido de Rafa Nadal, uno de los mejores atletas de la historia del deporte, una carrera de Fórmula 1. Me gustaría saber qué significa eso para vosotros, para la UFC, que sea un atleta tan importante, una superestrella en España y a nivel mundial. Gracias.
Just wanted to ask about this personality and the status of Ilia Topuria, because we have the numbers right now. The fight was at 6 a.m. in Spain, and they had numbers comparable to Real Madrid, Reyes Condoro, Rafa Nadal, a great star in tennis, even Formula One races. How do you feel about the way that Ilia has taken things by storm?
So he's saying he got the numbers from.
Yep.
You're good. Well, if it did those kind of numbers, obviously I'm thrilled. And yeah, we know that he's big over there, and that people care. And like I said earlier, tonight, if you look at what he's accomplished in his last 3 fights, tonight was like his big coming out party. He moved up to win another title and did it in spectacular fashion. I mean, you couldn't do it any better. Like some Ali shit, saying I'm going to knock him out in the first round, and viciously knocks him out in the first round. Yeah, I think tonight was his big night. We have a star on our hands.
Si estos números son verdad, entonces, bueno, me imagino, por todo lo que ha hecho, además de la manera como lo hizo, bueno, como está haciendo, y además de hoy fue la fiesta que dijo, acá estoy, llegué. Porque básicamente, cosas como Ali dijo lo que va a hacer y lo hizo tal cual. Creo que tenemos una gran estrella en nuestras manos.
Questions, Dana, from Cadena Cope from Spain. Volkanovski cow, Holloway cow, Oliveira cow, Ilia Topuria, the best fighter in the world. Does he deserve the number 1 pound for pound?
You guys determine who the number 1 pound for pound is. No, you. If I did, John Jones would be the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world.
I think it would be Ilia Topuria.
Well, there you go. You do it, so good luck.
And Spain, Dana.
Yeah.
I know it depends on the new TV contract, but, Ilia Topuria wants to fight on his country. All our country wants Ilia Topuria to fight there. So do you think 2026 Spain is going to be a reality and UFC is going to go there?
It is the goal. It's what we've been trying to get into Spain for a while here. But yeah, hopefully, that's what I want to do. We'll see if we can get it done.
You think Bernabeu or Arena?
I don't know. See what's available. Let's see what we can figure out.
It's a promise? going to Spain?
What's that? How come it's always like a fucking war zone when we do press conferences out here? I've never even seen this many helicopters in Las Vegas. What is it? Strip tours?
Is it a promise going to Spain or not?
Is what going to Spain?
A promise?
Is that a promise? You promising you're going to?
Yeah. I promise I'm going everywhere. I was just in Azerbaijan, Baku. Yes, we're definitely going to Spain. It's just a matter of when.
You.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Dana, over here.
Yeah.
Olympic gold medalist Gable Stevenson has been seen recently training with John Jones and said himself he plans on joining the UFC. Is that someone you're interested in seeing?
So the question, what did he say? The Gable Stevenson and John Jones.
They're training with John Jones. He wants to come to UFC.
John Jones is training? Holy shit. This news today. Was he on the reality show in Thailand or something? I have no idea, sir. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
And then also,
I didn't know John was training.
also from brutal knockouts to crazy submissions, do you believe UFC 317 goes down as one of the best cards of all time?
Thank you.
Dana, down here to your right again. Since you brought him up, down here, since you brought up John, I don't know if you.
I didn't bring John up. You did it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. He gave you a layup. I don't know. Did you see his series of tweets over the last few days, inferring that basically he told you guys that he was retired last November and that your efforts to make the Aspinall fight were basically futile?
Not true.
Okay,
Yeah. Is that what you wanted to ask me?
Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. But what do you make of him coming out and saying contrary to what you've said there?
I don't know. I'm telling you the truth. Believe what you want to believe.
I don't know how to respond here, but thank you.
Yeah. We know a lot of the talent nowadays stems from the contender season. You were seen mentioning a couple of days ago that we perhaps could see double the episodes on the new TV deal with contender series. So when you talk about that, do you envision maybe extending the current run we're on contender series, or maybe doing like another season like the winter and spring and then the fall one that we have right now?
We talk about contender?
Yeah.
Extending it?
Yeah, because you said we could perhaps see maybe double the amount of contender series we've seen onto the new TV deal.
Let me tell you what about the contender series. I do it 365 days a year if there was enough talent. So as long as there's a big enough talent pool, I'll do it every week, forever. I love it. Yep.
Right in the middle, Dana.
What's that?
Straight back in the middle.
Hi.
Hi there. You had Canelo and Terrence Crawford here for a press conference this week. What's it been like for you to get to see that fight come to fruition, given your boxing background? A lot of people don't understand, like, you come from boxing.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's awesome. I mean, like I said, leading up to, the press conference and at the press conference, for this to be my first fight to promote is incredible. I just think that there was always some weird shit from the press, like, does this fight and does Terrence Crawford's 19-0 in title fights, and he's undefeated, and it's gonna be a fun fight. And the only reason this fight's even happening is because of the stuff that they're doing in Saudi Arabia and the kind of money that's flying around right now. So anybody who's even remotely a boxing fan should be fucking pumped out of their minds right now that these are the type of fights that are going to happen. And I know he's got like 18 months of fights that he's got lined up, he being Jake Turkey. So yeah, it's fun, it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Ahí está. Y was want to ask in Spanish. Ilia Topuria siempre habla de que es un peleador que representa a la nueva generación de peleadores en la UFC. Obviamente han pasado muchas leyendas por la compañía, pero parece que él es algo único, un peleador que nunca hemos visto, que domina todas las áreas del juego. Y él siempre lo dice, ¿no? Que es un peleador único. ¿Compartes tú esa opinión? Porque al final tiene 28 años, parece que aún no ha entrado en su prime físico. ¿Dónde le ves al techo a Ilia Topuria?
Ilia Topuria has said that he represents a new generation of MMA fighters, and many legendary fighters have been around the block. What this seems to be a guy who's complete, he's getting the results, and he's only 28 years old. Where do you bring him right now in that situation? I mean, is he really coming, you'd like to know your opinion, as the face of the new generation of MMA?
Yeah, like I said tonight, I mean, he solidified himself tonight as a superstar. If you look at the three knockouts that he's coming off over absolute legends, I mean, I would have to agree with him.
Creo que estoy de acuerdo con él porque se ha puesto en una posición muy sólida de la manera como ha hecho. Mira, contra las tres leyendas, contra quien ha peleado y con knockouts. O sea, creo que estoy de acuerdo con ello. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan,
Yeah.
with Armin Sarukian weighing in as the backup, is he getting back in the good graces with you and the?
Well, it's not about getting back in the good graces. It's about, the guy had the opportunity to fight for a title and didn't make weight. You couldn't fuck up anything worse than that. But he proved, now that he's not fighting for the title, he was here as a backup fighter. He made weight, so it's definitely a step in the right direction.
And staying in that division, Justin Gaethje said that if he doesn't get a title shot, that he'd be thinking about retiring, and that he's basically inferring that you guys owe him a favor for him stepping in for UFC 300. I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Listen, everybody has their opinions on. Listen, if you're thinking about retiring, you know how I feel about that. You should probably retire. We love Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje did step up, and he's been an exciting, fun fighter to have here in the UFC. But to say, hey, listen, unless you give me a title shot, I'm retiring. That's pretty wacky.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thomas Miller was here tonight. Obviously, we all want to see Tom back in the cage. He recently said that Cyril Gane deserves a correction. He said he got some unfinished business with Cyril Gane. Is Cyril Gane versus Thomas Miller the fight you want to make for the return of Thomas Miller?
Gone Aspinall.
When we figure it out, we'll let you guys know. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Take care.
One last one.
Every time I stay around for one more, it's a fucking disaster. What do you got? I can't wait to hear this.
Peyton Talbot tonight showed a pretty clear improvement since the Barcelos fight, especially in his grappling. What do you make of him as a prospect now, showing that kind of quick turnaround for his loss?
You just salvaged all the bad match questions here. It's a great one. Yeah, what an incredible fight. That one was looking like fight of the night until. That's insane. And I got a question. T-Mobile and MGM, when are you going to build a real fucking building out here so we're not in a tent? This is crazy. How long has this been going on and we're in a fucking tent still? What do you say? This summer? Huh?
For Canelo Crawford.
For Canelo Crawford? Is that an official statement from MGM and T-Mobile? So, great question. Both those kids looked dynamite tonight. It was a great fight. And I don't know what you were asking me about Peyton, but he looked incredible. And yeah, I'm excited to see, what that kid does in the future. I'm excited to watch him grow and compete here. And thank you, sir, for making a great last question and not making me regret to take it. Happy 4th, everybody.